Hello. Okay. Hello, I am Laura. Thank you so much for being here today. Before we get started, I have to show you my flowers. Ignore the carnations. The carnations are passing, but the roses are doing something. So I just had to bring this energy into your reading and show you the roses. Okay. So today's reading is all about what spiritual passage, spiritual gateway, or spiritual initiation you are going to be moving through out of 2024 into 2025. So yes, this is kind of like a year ahead reading, but it's very focused on the spiritual journey that you are going on. For some of you, that might involve your business. For some of you, that might involve your personal life. For some of you, that might be your health, your mindset. Who knows? We are going to dive into it. So in just a second, you are going to see a lovely little photo of group 1, group 2, or group 3, and you are going to choose which group resonates with you. And then in the description down below, it will have a timestamp for each timestamp for your time. So you can skip ahead to whatever pile you feel aligned with. Sometimes I say that you can pick more than one, but I feel like for this, really, really feel in, take a deep breath, and feel into which pile is yours and trust your gut, trust that first instinct, trust that first like hit that you get and go to that pile and trust that pile, okay? Now, remember, nothing is ever set in stone. So if you don't like something, if you hear something that you're like, oh, that really doesn't resonate, leave it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, allow yourself to have fun, know that you have free will and choice and that you are the master of your reality and you can change anything that you don't like. But if you do like something, if you're like, ooh, that sounds good, I really like that, I want that, that's like for me, like that is what I've been calling in, you still have to take the action, okay? So take the action, do the thing, because I believe in you, the universe and God believes in you, and you have got this. You are divinely led and guided. Okay, let's dive in and just, we'll edit this in a second. Okay. So pile number 1, let's dive into the spiritual transformation that you are going through in this portal of 2024 to 2025. And apparently we are using this oracle. Okay. You guys have a lot of energy, okay? So there is a lot of things up in the air for you. There's a lot of things that you are going through. There is a lot of like options available. There is a lot of things available to you, and your discernment is going to be key in 2025. You discerning, I am recording. I just had to make sure. Okay, so you discerning what you want in life, what feels good for you, what brings you joy, what makes you happy, where you want to go, what your goals are, what your vision is. It's not so much about goal setting as it is about vision casting for you, okay? So it's not, this is also so funny because the card came out. So we have the void. I didn't even look at this yet, but look at this. You're literally going through a portal and all of these eyes, okay? So divinely protected, but also so many options, so many things that you can do, so many places that you can go. But this is so less about like, oh, I want to hit this goal, this goal, this goal, this goal, but more into that energy of what type of energy do I want to experience? What type of life do I want to live? Who do I want to be as I hit those goals? Because it's no longer about you hitting a milestone and then like moving on to the next thing. It's about really, really creating that whole life where you are a living, breathing embodiment of the vision that you want to live, of the vision that you are creating that's ever evolving, having that continuous flow of reaching those milestones, celebrating those milestones, but having those milestones roll into each other. So it's no longer about like, oh, I got to the top of the mountain and then I tumbled all the way down and then I got back up to the top of the mountain and then I tumbled back down. It's about you getting to that top of that mountain, realizing that it's actually this big wide open space and there's all this other land for you to go to, but really anchoring into your home on top of the mountain and living in your goals consistently. So living in that energy of fulfillment consistently, that is the portal that you are moving into. So if you have felt, you have fog here. So if you have felt lost or in a haze, in a daze, in a fog, oh my God, also, we just talked about a mountain. What is that? It's a pyramid. It is a glass prism pyramid that looks like a mountain. And look at that. You're coming right to the top, breaking through that void. So this is very much having that. The other thing too here is like the receivership of like receiving the light with the darkness, balancing both, realizing that on your path, it's no longer just about like, oh, I want to be comfortable, I want to be safe, I want to be happy. It's about realizing that the pain that you go through is all part of the journey, and the pain, the pressure, all of that brings you to these newer, higher levels and deeper levels of pleasure, this deeper level of moving through. We also have, I never know how to say this, um the halcyon. I'm not sure how to say that. Either way, we're going to focus more on the image here, but again, we have that eye, we have that knowing, we have that seeing into where you're going. We also have all of these doves, these crows, these birds, and this beautiful mirror that is reflecting back to you everything that you are, everything that you have always been, but that you haven't been allowing yourself to see what it is. I also want to look up this word, so just give me a second here. I don't usually use the guidebook, but I'm going to pull it out because I'm like, what is this word? Number one. Okay, so it says how Chiron. It doesn't tell me what the word means, but it does mean routine, ordinary, lack of presence. And then the reverse is repression, fearing change, and avoidance. Okay. So we were just talking about this, but this moving out of this energy of that fear, that repression, that lack, into this energy of you being able to receive everything that you want to receive, becoming the version of yourself that you are future casting, the version of yourself that you are projecting into the future. You can be them right now. You can be that person in the here and now. I want to grab. You can be that person right now. Okay. Whatever's blocking you or making you feel like you're leaving the blocks behind in 2024. And if you're watching this later in life, like if this has somehow found you, the next month, the next week, the next year, the next 3 weeks, because that's sort of when I'm filming this. It's December 4th. It's also 3/13. For some reason, that feels like I need to tell someone that 3s or 13s are important for someone. But you, whether you're watching this now or you're watching this later, whenever you're watching this, this is coming up in this next like month or so, or this next moon cycle for you. Because the thing is, it's like we can create portals at any time, okay? Yes, you can have like 11/11, you can have the 8/8, you can have like the 2/2/2, like all these different things. Like we can pull these signs from our life, from our reality, from the structures that are around us, but we can also have these things that we can just be like, oh, okay, I'm going from morning to night, that's a portal. I'm going from night to day, that's a portal. I'm going from one second to another, that can be a portal. Like whatever you need to do, whatever you need to create, like you can create that change, whether or not like all of the internet is celebrating it. Okay. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. It's gonna look really gross because it's green, but it's delicious. And it also helps my gut be really healthy, and it's my favorite thing in the entire world. I was out of it for like 2 weeks, and I swear I was like dying. Like I've never been like a greens person, but this one has changed my gut, changed my life. So you have surrendered to the sweetness, okay? So Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. I absolutely love this because we were just talking about leaving behind everything that you don't want to. Also, can we talk about how I said that you're breaking through that fog, you're breaking through that illusion, coming up to the top of the mountain, and then this card is literally like at the top of the mountain that you're like creating this home, you're creating this peace. If you have been looking for any sort of partnership or connection or anything like that, I also feel like this is very much something that is coming through for you, coming in for you. Um, because there is this energy of it's like it's so funny because also normally anytime I put the like my cards down, I always put them like so like at the top and you can't see it. But for some reason just now I put it with this face up and I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. So we're taking that off because I feel like I put it up for a reason so that I could see it. Because this one's face down. Like this card deck is face down. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It feels like it's part of it. You have perspective here. So again, really, really zooming out in 2025, really bringing yourself to that overarching, again, coming to that top of that mountain. Okay. You might also be a mountain environment in human design. I'm a mountain environment in human design. Sitting on the floor has completely changed my life. I like to have a lot of space above me. You might be the same. But you can do this energetically as well. You can do this emotionally. You can really pull back the layers on what you're experiencing because it's like none of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. Okay. Finding that for the first couple of months, especially like January, February, especially if you live in like where it's winter, where it's cold, having that sort of hibernation, that little bit of that hermit feeling. Also, I did not grab a tarot. I want to grab a tarot. I'll be right back. What was I talking about? Zooming out, having that perspective shift, having that like that feeling or that energy of moving out of 2025 for you is potentially going to start off very slow. It might feel like you're trudging through snow or jello or slush, like you're trying to swim up current. It might feel like you're floating off in space and you have no gravity. You have nowhere to land yet. And you're like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm feeling really, really lost. One of the things that I really want to stress to you is that you are in the right place. Okay. If you are feeling like you are like the eye of the storm, the eye, the eye of the storm, if you feel like you are in the center of a tornado, if you feel like you're in the center of the storm, just know that you are exactly where you need to be. You are in exactly the right place at exactly the right time because once that storm settles, and also you are the storm as well, but once that storm settles, you are going to have this level of like quantum leaping, this level of growth, this level of breakthrough and initiation that is really going to completely change where you're going. I also I felt like I had to show you guys the flowers at the beginning, but I'm going to bring them back here for a second. Do you see how big these are? Like, do you see just like these are beautiful? These are stunning. When I got these, they were super, super tight, closed, tiny, and they were on the like $10 flower thing. And as they've been sitting here working with me, working on my table every single day, they're opening, 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 all on their own. They're like, "Hey, we love you. We appreciate you. Like, thank you so much for picking us up. Thank you so much for coming, like getting us." And it's just like they have been opening so beautifully, but so slowly. Now, if I had picked these up and been like, I want big open roses and I'm gonna rip them open, I would have ruined them. Okay. If I had tried to peel back every single layer of them, I would have ruined them. I know sometimes on the internet people like hang them upside down and they do this like rolling the stem and either way, I did not have to force these to bloom. I did not have to force these to open. I gave them the grace, the presence, the compassion, the patience to allow them to open or not. I just said, I want flowers, and I picked out the ones that called to me, and I brought them home. Okay. In this analogy, you are the flower. You just get to open and bloom and flourish as you are meant to. If you try and force yourself to open faster, it's just going to end up causing you unnecessary pain and hurt. So, like, really give yourself the patience and the grace to grow into what you're doing, grow into where you're going. You don't need to rush. You are not behind. You are not too late. The really, really big thing here is allowing yourself to come through that. So we have the Seven of Swords, okay? Also, it's really funny. I hate this card deck. It's beautiful. It's stunning. Like, it's absolutely beautiful, but I really hate this card deck. It really does not speak to me, but we're going to roll with it anyways because it wanted to be the one that spoke. But there is, again, I don't know why I'm pulling this out. This card deck does not speak to me. I'm going to speak about it anyways, but like, it does not speak to me. Oh, okay. I know why. Patience. This card deck, when I pull from these guys and I pull from my other card decks, it's like they're immediately they have something to say. This one always takes me a little bit while. It takes me, I have to get quiet. I have to get centered. I have to be like, okay, what do you want to say? And I usually have to wait. This is what this is speaking to. This is why this deck chose to come forward, because this is a reminder for me and it's a reminder for you. Just as I was talking about allowing that flower to bloom when it's ready, allowing you to bloom when you are ready. Me allowing this card deck to speak when the card deck is ready, not when I'm ready, but when the card deck is ready to share the message when it wants to share the message. You have been putting this pressure on yourself to perform. You want to reach certain milestones, certain goals, but everything is coming back to this surrender. Okay. Going through this void, breaking through the fog, having this deeper perspective, being the mirror that you need to be, allowing yourself to go through the resistance and let yourself reach the other side, even if you don't know what that other side looks like. Okay. It's really allowing you to have, this like, I don't like that one. It's really allowing you to have this like, this shift. It's not just a shift in perspective. And I feel like I'm repeating myself here. Like maybe this isn't meant to be a long reading. Maybe this is meant to be something short. But it's like you get to take your time. 2025 is about you thinking into your life, not drowning, not disappearing in quicksand, but really thinking into who you are, thinking into the feelings, thinking into the desires, and allowing those to lead you, okay? Allowing the desires that are put in your heart to become your path. Allowing it to be, it's funny, bottom of the deck is sacred surrender, and you already had surrender here. But it's this thinking into yourself in this way that speaks to expansion, it speaks to change, and it speaks to you becoming true to yourself, no longer doing the things that other people tell you to do, no longer doing it the way that other people are doing it. It's really about finding your own unique pathway, your own unique way of doing, and allowing it to be different than everybody else, like allowing it to be something. You're not going to read about it in a book. You're not going to find a course on the internet. You're not going to see anybody else talking about it. Like it's you're going to be the one who starts to talk about it. You're going to be the one who writes the book. You're going to be the one who develops the course or the methodology. Like, and then the thing is as soon as you do that, as soon as you have that breakthrough, suddenly you're going to find all the books. You're going to find all the other people who are doing the same thing. It's like walking into a village when you're like, I'm the only person on the entire world. I'm walking through the desert alone. Nobody else is here. I'm the only one. And then suddenly you break through the mirage. You break through so it's really fun. It's like a little gateway here. But like you break through the tree line. Like you suddenly, and then you're like, oh my God, there's a whole bustling city. There's a whole village of people doing everything that I've always wanted to do. And the old version of you would have went, well, there's no room for me. There's no space for me. I'm not meant to be here. Like they're already doing it. I don't have to be here. And you would have gone back into the forest. You would have gone back into the desert. You would have kept on your vision quest and kept going, being like, well, I thought that was my vision. I thought that's where I was being led. But like these people are already doing it and they've been doing it way longer than me. So like obviously there's no room for me. That's old you would have said that, not new you. 2025 you, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm in the wrong place, you get to be like, oh my God, I'm in the right place. Also, I am having massive, massive deja vu right now. And I'm like, I haven't sat here. I have not done readings on this computer this way. I have not done this before, but I'm having this message. I'm like, I am having such deja vu. You might have a lot of deja vu next year too, but like this is like instead of being like, oh my God, there's already people doing it, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I found my people. I'm in the right place. I found the right place. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like it's no longer this thing that like you feel like you're in competition. It's this thing where you feel like you're creating community. You're feeling like you're finding your people. And as you start to find the books, as you start to find the people, as you start to find videos start popping up on your feed, and you're like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one who thought this way. I thought I was the only one who was thinking about this or like doing this. You're going to realize that like seeing it mirrored back to you, everything that you've been learning and growing and seeing is part of your pathway to be like you're on the right track. Not to say, oh, go in the different direction because other people are already doing it. It's like you get to go and do it. You get to follow through with it. So, one final card, because I feel like that's all I'm allowed to tell you. Divine initiation. Okay, we talked about this at the very beginning that this reading was going to be about like what is your divine initiation that's happening. And this is, we also have avoidance of discomfort. So if you have been avoiding discomfort, go through the doorway. The discomfort is not nearly as bad as you think it is. And what's on the other side of that comfort is everything that you are wanting, everything that you've been seeking, and everything that you have been holding off because you've been avoiding being uncomfortable. Okay. Or you've been avoiding the pain, or you're like, oh, it would be suffering. It's like, no, it's surrender, not suffering. Um, yeah. Fall into my arms. Okay. This to me very much surrender. Holding the opposites and extremes of life. So yeah, we talked about this a little bit with like the pain and the pleasure, and how as you're avoiding the pain, you're avoiding the pleasure. As you're trying to stay comfortable and avoiding the discomfort, that's you're blocking all the happiness, the joy, the everything on the other side. It's almost like you're so you're trying so hard to be safe. You're trying so hard to be secure. You're trying so hard to be comfortable that in that trying to be safe and be comfortable and be secure, you're actually stopping yourself from feeling safe. You're actually stopping yourself from feeling comfortable. You're actually stopping yourself from feeling secure. Okay? Because you're trying so hard to not experience any sort of hardship, you're not allowing yourself to live. You are in a holding zone because you're not actually living. Okay, I'm sorry. You're also carrying the weight of the world. Okay, so you've got weight of the world, boundaries, let it go, it's not yours to carry. So any part of you that feels like you're unsafe or you're not able to let go of the things that are holding you back, you've also got trust the timing, which we were talking about earlier. But it's like anywhere that you're holding on to the weight of the world, let it all go before 2025. We do have a new moon, I believe on the 30th of December. Let it all go before you go through that actual like 2024 New Year's Eve to New Year's Day portal of transformation. Journal out anything you want to let go of. Journal out anything you feel like is holding you back. You don't even have to journal. You can just like be like, okay, I let it go. Like let it go, let it flow. Like let that be your mantra. Let it go, let it flow. Because that in itself is a clearing. Our voice, the sound that we make with our voice, the way that we talk, the way that we communicate, the words that we use are so, so, so incredibly powerful. And using your voice to let things go. And you can keep it as simple as like let it go, let it flow, or like I release, delete, and clear anything that is not mine to carry. I surrender it to God. I surrender it to universe, source. I let it go. I return it to sender. I let it go back where it needs to go. Like all of that really does create so much huge, 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 huge changes. So that's your big thing is like letting yourself move at the pace that you are moving. Now, I didn't even think of this as a thing to talk about, but I'm going to mention it. If all you wanted was a card reading, close out, you're good to go. That was your session, that was your reading. The thing is too, is like as you let all this go, you're just gonna open up to something so much bigger in 2025 that it's like I'm not even really seeing past February because I feel like by the time March rolls around, you're going to be a completely different person if you allow yourself to be gentle with yourself, if you allow yourself to go through this transformation, if you allow yourself to go through this surrender, go through this moving. Like this is where everything starts opening up for you, is in actually taking um allowing the shift to take place and allowing yourself to let go of the feeling like you have to force yourself to be something that you're not. So that being said, I work with a frequency scanner, and just as I was closing up, it was like, tell them about the scanner. So, this is a sales pitch because I literally sell it. So if you're not interested, you're good. You got your free reading. You can go. Anyways, one of the features of the frequency scanner, which literally sends you frequency. So if you're like, oh, I'm working on my abundance, we can literally send you broadcast the frequency of abundance. It's an app on your phone. It can also be on your computer or your laptop. It's a monthly subscription. It is $149 USD. I am Canadian, so it usually breaks out to like 200 the other day because the exchange rate is just the exchange rate is exchanging. But it was like 214, so a month. So for some people that will be too expensive, and for some people like me, it was something that I was like, I'm gonna make this happen no matter what, because I see the benefit of it. And I am in my era of ease, simplicity, and massive results, and massive change, and massive impact, and living and moving and being a flirt. One of my one of my things is letting my inner flirt out. So um sorry, I just got like completely derailed. I wasn't going to say that. And then my mouth was like, and we're in our flirting era. So one of the things with the frequency scanner is there is this beautiful, beautiful feature called Inner Voice, which actually scans your vocal cords and then creates a custom track using your vocal cords, musical notes, binaural beats, frequencies, all of this to create a track that's going to work on your emotions. So it's going to tell you what your top 4 emotions that are coming up for you are, and then it's going to create this custom musical soundtrack for you to listen to. Every single time you do it, you're going to get new musical notes, you're going to get new sequences, you're going to get new what you're dealing with in that moment. And it has literally changed my life in the last year and a half that I have been using it. Oh my God, maybe more than a year and a half now. Either way, oh, it's 333. 333. We are like on squirrel brain all of a sudden, which was funny because at the beginning of your reading, I was like, you guys have a lot of energy, and then we sunk into that energy, and now we're back into that like squirrel energy. So there's a lot of potential for you next year. But if you're looking for some form of support that will really help you shift your energy, really help you create change, and support you when you know that you could do this without it, you know that you could do this by yourself, but you're also like me, where I was like, I am done doing this by myself. I am ready to have a support system that's not just God, source, universe. I also feel like this was given to me by God. Like it really was. I was going through a super, super rough period in my life, and I screamed at God, and I was like, I need something. Like, what is next? What am I doing? And it was literally a new year. And I heard this voice that said, rest, and everything will be shown to you. And one of the things that was shown to me was the scanner. And I was so resistant. I was like, no fucking way. I'm not using an app on my phone. I don't need that. I do energy clearings. I can clear my chakras. I'm fucking magical. And then I tried it, and then I never looked back because it was like, oh, okay, yes, just because I can do all of this by myself, just because I can clear my own energy, just because I can raise my own frequency, just because I can do all that doesn't mean I'm going to stop that. I just get to have this extra support from Scanner, which is amazing. So I'm also going to drop a link down below for the scanner, or you can message me on my Instagram and we can talk back and forth in DMs about it if you have any questions or anything like that. There's also a 6-day trial at $60. But yeah, I wasn't planning on doing a sales pitch, but I feel like that's something that could be beneficial for you. So, okay. All right. Thank you, pile one. And if you want a personal year ahead to dive deeper into this, shoot me a message. I'm not going to be doing any in the month of December, but I will be opening up some limited spots for January. So if you want to book that in now, we can get that going. Okay. Mwah. I will see you next time. Bye. I'm so used to doing these on my computer. Not my computer. I'm doing it on my computer. I'm so used to doing these on my with my like my fancy camera. And I'm so used to having to like turn it off and turn it on and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, I can just leave this running because we are doing this with our webcam on Zoom. Also, how is the quality? Is it awful? I'm so sorry. But we were lazy and we weren't even going to do this. We haven't done a YouTube video in forever, literally forever. But we decided to do it today. So, pile 2. Hello. How are you? What is going on? I feel like saying I miss you. So have you watched my videos before? Do we know each other? Shoot into my DMs or drop a comment below if you are if we either know each other in real life, if you're returning, if this is your first time here, let me know because I'm super curious because I feel like we are like old soul sisters. I feel like we have known each other through a different lifetime. I also need to take a drink. Give me a second. It's also getting all like thickening. So give me a sec. Give me a second here. Because it's just gonna get thicker as I sit here. You probably won't believe me because I'm making a really weird face. This is actually really delicious. But yeah, it's totally like cemented at the bottom. Hold on. I don't really want to edit all of this later, but I'm so sorry. It's really delicious and it makes my gut so healthy and it makes me sleep better. And it gives me like, so I have like no brain fog and all my bloating goes away and all my inflammation. And it's amazing. And I haven't had it for 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm going to make it. And then I decided to do card reading. And then it was sitting there for the entire 30 minutes of the first one. So it had like solidified. So anyways, it was really delicious though. I really love it. Anyways, this is so unhinged. This is probably why I stopped doing these because I just could not take myself seriously anymore. Okay, group number 2. You have a little bit of jokester energy. Okay. I feel like you're just gonna laugh and be like, what's the green drink? This is too many cards. We're not reading all of those. This is too many cards. Not reading all. This is too many cards. We're not reading all of these. Okay. That's like literally like half. Hold on. There's still some on the table too. Like this is ridiculous. What is this? So we're not gonna do that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna shuffle this now. This is how many cards just jumped out. This is how many cards are left in the deck. Utterly ridiculous. Am I still recording? I am. Okay. If you've been here before, you will know that basically my tagline for recorded sessions or videos is, am I recording? Because I always lose track of like if I am or not. There, we got one. Okay, your energy. This is hilarious. I feel like it's just like I don't even know how to describe it, but like it's jokester, it's like shits and giggles, it's like literally just nonsense, like literal nonsense, like cue nonsense by Sabrina Carpenter right now, okay? It's a song also, if you don't know, go look it up. I really love it. You have the witch. Okay, so you have experimentation and rebel. So this actually makes so much sense with this energy that I'm feeling right now of like this really, really bubbly, this really, really happy, this really, really like all over the place. The fact that the camera's not zooming or not focusing and I look like, there we go. So that being said, you have either been on this journey for like a year already and you're really just continuing a deepening process, or in the last couple of months, weeks, days, hours, seconds, like in the recentness, you have decided to just say, fuck it, I'm being myself. That is what you're doing right now. Like you give no shits right now. And it's not about like, oh, I'm just gonna go off and like hurt people. It's not about like going off and just being like, I don't fucking care about anything. Well, that is not it. This is like you care so deeply that your entire life you have been stopping yourself out of fear of potentially hurting someone, but you have finally just got the download. Literally, as I'm getting this download, you have just gotten the download, you have just got the clarity, you have just got the realization that by you trying not to hurt people and not being yourself, you're actually hurting more people because people need you to be your authentic self. And every single time that you have not been your authentic self, you have unintentionally hurt someone. So by trying to not hurt someone unintentionally, you've actually unintentionally been hurting people because people need you, not this frozen version of you that's trying to never say the wrong thing, always have every single perspective covered, and always trying to like be diplomatic in a way. Like you never want to say the wrong thing. You never want to hurt someone's feelings. You never want to accidentally trigger someone. Like you are so hyper aware of everything that you have been in such a freeze state because you are unable to move, because if you don't have your own opinions, which you do, but you haven't been voicing them, you haven't been speaking them, you haven't been sharing them, you have been on this thing of trying so hard to please every single person's perspective in the world that you have completely stopped moving because there is no way for you to reach and please every single perspective out there. And the fact is, yeah, you've been hurting yourself, especially yourself, but you have also been hurting other people by not expressing this level of freedom that you need to express. Because by you not saying, hey, I have this opinion that might be different than someone else's, but I have it, I have an opinion, I have a thought, you're not offering that to the world, which is literally what you are here to do. You are here to offer your opinions. You are here to offer your judgments. And not like, oh, you look so crappy, you're like judgments, but like the perspective shifts that would actually crack people open and create breakthroughs and be this catalyst sort of energy for people. You've been holding that back for fear of like, oh, like I don't want to trigger them. I don't want to hurt them. And again, this is not saying go be an asshole. Okay? This is not go off and be a jerk. But it's like, stop letting the fear of potentially saying the wrong thing stop you. So this experimentation, rebellious phase that you are in, it's not a phase. It's you accessing your truth. Okay? It's you actually finally, for the first time ever, starting to say what you really mean and starting to ask for what you really want and starting to get what you really want, because you've been holding your desires at like an arm's length away. See how the camera's going blurry? This is what you've been creating in real life. You have not been able to create that focus, that. Can we actually focus, please? Why am I blurry? There we go. So, perfectionism. Okay. So you have been burning out because you're not being true to yourself. You've been dealing with this perfectionism. It's also, I feel like we gloss over perfectionism, we gloss over people pleasers, but there's this deeper thing of like not wanting to say the wrong thing, wanting to be right. Okay, you want to be right. It's not so much about it needs to be perfect, but you want to be right and you want what you're doing to be right. So you wait and you freeze and you get stuck in the waiting and the wanting and the not actually acting or doing. And there's also this level of not wanting to get in trouble. It's trying to follow the rules, but the rules are always changing. You don't know what the rules are. You're with your mom, the rules are different. You're with your dad, the rules are different. You're with your client, the rules are different. You're with your teacher, the rules are different. You're with your partner, the rules are different. You're with the random stranger on the street, the rules are different. You walk into a party, the rules are different. You're in the grocery store, the rules are different. You're reading a book, you're online, the rules are constantly changing. Okay? You will never be able to be right in everybody's perspective. Okay? So, this energy, though, of you creating this allowing yourself to actually be seen for the first time in who you are and really allowing yourself to see yourself will allow those desires to come into focus, will allow what you want to come into focus. And it will create these foundations and it will create this sense of community that you've been seeking your entire life. This sense of, instead of just fitting in, it's really finding this sense of belonging and finding the other people that are meant for you. And the other people who are meant for you also being able to find you, because right now they are walking right beside you, but they don't see you. They see this shell that you've been carrying. And like, yes, people might like you and they might be like, wow, she's really great, like whatever, but it's like they're not bonding with you because you're not allowing yourself to have that vulnerability that will bring them forward. All of this is changing in 2025. So this is like that big breakthrough that you're going through, is really being that person who people are like, she's so vulnerable and she's so real and she's so brave and she's so strong and she's so courageous. And if you don't identify as she, fill in whatever. My brain could not think of the word male or non-binary or anything like that. It was like, what is the other option besides she? Most of my audience is female, who identifies as female. So that being said, if you identify with anything else, alien, be the alien self. Okay, so here's the beautiful thing. We have got the forgotten. Okay. It says missed opportunities and fear of failure. This is so much what we were just talking about, but it really is this thing of like, you have forgotten yourself. You have forgotten to consider yourself in the person that you are pleasing. You have forgotten to realize that if you hide who you are, you can't even see yourself. You're literally out of focus. And this next year is about you getting so crystal clear and so focused and so in that clarity of who you are and who you want to be, that you feel the strength and the support and the steadiness and the anchored in your being, that when someone comes up to you with an opinion, instead of you being like, oh, I don't want to ruffle the feathers, or like, oh, I don't want them to be upset with me, you have the strength not to be like, oh my God, you're wrong, but to be like, well, actually, I see it through this lens or from this point of view, or I have another thought about that. Like, are you willing to hear it? Like, let me talk to you about this. Or like, hey, I see it a little bit differently. Like, my experience has been this. And the really beautiful thing is in having those conversations, opening up those perspectives, you're actually going to be allowing those people to go through shifts that they have been searching for, but they haven't been able to find because you haven't been activating that power inside of you to create those shifts for people. And I don't really like that word for people, but when you open a door, people have the decision to walk through it or not. Okay, if you hold the door open for someone, they can say, oh, no, that's okay, I'll open it myself. Or they can say, oh, thank you so much. That's what you're creating. You're creating these open doors for people to say, oh, thanks so much. I'm going to walk through that. I'm going to see that differently. Oh my God, I never thought of it that way. Oh, you know what? I'm not really sure, but I'm going to let myself sit with that. Again, it's been part of this fear of failure, but in that fear of failure, it's the fear of getting it wrong or the fear of getting in trouble for being true to yourself. Okay. And this has been leading to a lot of missed opportunities for you. Now, are these opportunities gone forever? No, these opportunities are circling back around in 2025. So it's like anything where you feel like you've missed this, like you're at the starting line and you missed a little like run type of thing, you're going back to that starting line, or maybe you've never even left the starting line. Like you're still standing at the starting line ready to go, but like you're actually going to take that action now and move forward. Which is really, really beautiful. Honestly, it's really, really beautiful. This opportunity, that's the opportunities, multiple, it's not just one, there's multiple opportunities that are going to be circling back around for you. And the beautiful thing is too, is like you're actually ready for them in a way that you weren't before. So there's like a saying that's like anything that's for you like won't pass you by, or like you'll never really miss it. It just might come later. It's sort of like catching another bus 15 minutes later, right? There'll be another one. So that's the big thing. It's like anything that you feel like you missed it, it's coming back around. I do want to specify, and I'm so sorry that I can't get more specific, but this is a group reading. For some of you, this is a relationship. For some of you, this is someone who has who you guys tried to get together, or something never worked, or you were dating someone, they were single, you became single and they were dating someone. There's always been this like back and forth, like thing not really happening, not really lining up. For some of you, if that's the case, if that's resonating, this thing of like, we both liked each other, but neither of us said anything, but they were taken when I was single, and then I was taken and they were single, and then it just kept doing this thing of like you were never single at the same time. If someone comes back around, um, it's really funny. There's this is the card says the vengeance. Um but I'm not paying attention to that, and it's not focusing on that, but it's literally like the red string and how the hands have been trying to connect, and there's literally like an anchor, and it's like you keep being pulled back together. This is why for some of you it's coming back together because it's really, really good for you. Okay, for some of you this is an opportunity that's coming back for you. For some of you, if you are sitting here being like, oh my God, I just got over them, I just let them go, I just did a moon ritual, like I just did a cord cutting, but oh my God, they're coming back, maybe they'll be better than, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the other part of the group that has a healthy relationship. If you have had a super toxic, I am not talking to you. They are gone, and let them go. And even if they come back, let them go. Okay? Because there's also a really strong energy here. Where there is this part, like there are some of you who have been in this back and forth, like whatever, but it's never been healthy. Okay. The one that I was just talking about, where I'm like, the opportunities aligning, it has always been healthy. It has just been out of alignment, and it's finally coming into alignment at the same time. If you've been going back and forth with some ex and you're like, oh my God, they broke my heart, and then I broke their heart, and then I turned into someone I didn't want to be, and then no, that I am not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the other people. So you will know which one you're in. And if you have to ask yourself, oh, is mine the toxic? Maybe it's not that toxic. You're toxic. Not you, but the relationship was. Okay. If you have to question if it was, it was. Okay. Just saying. But there is this thing of missed opportunities. For some of you, it is a relationship. And do for the other ones, do not be deceived by the relationship that's very harmful, that's hurting. If you finally feel like you've just gotten over and you're like, oh my God, are they coming back? They might. Some of you, they might. But for you, if you're like, oh, I've just gotten over that, them coming back is the opportunity for you to say, no, this is not what I'm asking for, which will then open the door for your actual partnership to come in. Okay. This is where we also have the wise one. Okay. So for some of you, we've gone through this transition of like the forgetting, the forgotten. This is bringing in that energy of your inner knowing, really, really trusting yourself, really, really knowing what relationships are for you, what relationships are not, when to cut the cords, when to move on, and when to be like, oh, you know what, this is an opportunity that's come back around for a reason. Okay. For some of you, this is also related to work. This is also related to like scholarships, winning, prize money, any sort of opportunities. Like if you wanted to start a podcast or a YouTube, or you wanted to be like a social media something, like it's first, there's this energy of being in the spotlight, and by sharing your voice, sharing what you want to say. This is funny, the other pile had a message about voice as well, but their reading was totally different. I think there's a really strong message too that's just overarching for everybody's energy about really speaking their truth and letting their voice shine in 2025. But that being said, there is some part of like you being seen and you stepping into the spotlight um for in 2025. Yeah. And part of the wise, like part the you being wise also has to do with you really, really coming into your own. Um and sorry, the cards just got all flippy flippy. Really coming into your own and allowing yourself to have discernment. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like a big storm outside. Very distracting, but it's probably silent on screen. Okay. I pulled out my what is this called? The Rose Oracle, because I feel like some part of this, we talked a little bit about the romance coming back in, and I feel like some of you are really latching onto that energy and really wanting to know about it. So if you're already in like a successful, happy relationship, you can pass that on. But if you're wanting to stick around for a minute, or if you just want to listen anyways, because I might circle back around to something that does apply to you, let's just see what comes out here. Those were all the ones that flipped. Okay. So we have rapture, sensuality, love, devotion, romance, ecstasy, and pleasure. So there is definitely some really beautiful romance coming through as you step into your truth. You're going to attract that true partner. You also have the Great Mother, surrender to the mystery and fall into her arms. Okay. So really allowing yourself to let go of the old, step into the new, and allow this portal to like birth you into who you really, really are. It's almost as, I know that the word like rebirth is so outdated, but it really does feel like you're being born again as you were when you were originally like came down to earth. You were like, this is who I'm going to be. And you've spent the last however many years playing dress up. And now you're really going to start being who you are. You also have the sun, joy, joy, enjoyment, life forces, success, vitality, and play. That's literally a portal. Most of these cards have portals on them, but that's literally the portal that I feel like you're going through. It's like really stepping into your light, really stepping into that shining. On here, we have the little eye with all the little rays, and it's like, yeah, this is very much you stepping into that openness and just letting yourself move through. And you have the breathing rose, heart healing, emotions connection, and time eases. And a huge heart activation there with the flowers. And at the beginning of this session, I just feel like I need to show these, but like just the roses just opening in their time. So beautiful, so big. These have been very, very symbolic for all the readings that I've done so far, and I felt like showing them to you as well. So this is bringing in, if you have felt anywhere like you're struggling, or you're like you don't know how to heal, or you don't know when the healing will be done, you're coming to a point in your life where healing no longer feels like giant surgery. It's starting to be more like, oh, I scraped my knee, I'll put some cream and a band-aid on it, I'll give myself a little Reiki, and I'm moving on. Like it's no longer going to be these like life or death, complete disaster, like everything has to break down to build back up again. You're really in this point where you're doing the daily maintenance, where you're having those daily shifts. And it's more just a part of your life instead of these big, like, oh, I'm healing. It's like, no, you realize that every single day you're healing. Every single day you're going through something, and it's no longer this thing that you want to avoid. It's this thing that you're actually very grateful for and you're very embracing, and you're like, ooh, I get to change and I get to evolve. So that is your spiritual breakthrough for 2024 to 2025. If you do want to go deeper or if anything resonated, message me on Instagram and we'll book a private one-on-one reading for you. I'm not doing any of those in December like I normally do. Wasn't even sure if I was going to do them at all. But I will be having a limited amount of them available for January. So if you want to book that in, you are more than welcome to message me. We'll get that on the books right now. I think that's it. I did an offer at the end of pile one that I feel like I'm supposed to tell you about too, but I'm like, I was not planning on this. But I did mention the daily maintenance. If you want to go back and watch in the timestamp, I'll put the timestamp that you can jump back and you can watch pile one's offer as well. And if it resonates with you, shoot me a message. We can talk about it more. But it's this frequency scanner that I've been working with for the last year and a half, more than that, almost 2 years. And it's now my form of daily maintenance, and I absolutely love it. Will not trade it in for the world. And if you are looking for something to support you, even though you know that you can do it all by yourself, you can do all the healing, you can do all the Reiki, you can do all the energy clearings, you can do all the card pulls, you can do all the anything. Like you are invincible and you are powerful. You know that. But if you are like, I'm so powerful that I'm allowed to ask for help and I'm allowed to receive help and I'm allowed to receive support, and it can be simple and it can be easy and it can be something that I can do myself without having to use my own energy, you might be interested in the frequency scanner. So shoot me a message. We can chit chat about that, do a demo, anything like that. So I'll also pop in the, again, the little timestamp that you can click on in the description for pile one. That is it. Thank you. I am Laura. Leave a comment of which pile you picked and how it resonated, and I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Bye. We only used 2 decks for that one. Okay. This was pile one. Ooh, you guys are calm. Okay, can we please focus? We're just gonna be blurry. All right. Hello, pile 3. Don't mind the fact that this camera is blurry. I don't know what's happening. That's even worse. No, there we go. Okay, hello, pile 3. Welcome. Thank you for being here. You guys have such a calm energy compared to pile 1 and pile 2, so that's really beautiful. Little sleepy. A little sleepy too. Okay. What is going on for my pile 3? So this reading is about the energy between oh, hold on. Reading is about the portals that you are going through from 2024 to 2025, the spiritual journey that you're going to go on in 2025. You're no stranger to spiritual journeys. You shift every day, every week, every second. You're constantly changing, you're constantly evolving. You have it on lock. Like you know your shifts, you know where you're going. The reading's over, not just kidding. But there is this thing about like you've been around the block before, right? Like you've been here, you're sort of like you're almost like, oh, I'm so old and I'm so wise and like I've done this a million times, like I know everything. And the message that I'm getting for you is letting go of the I know everything, I've done everything, like, or any part of you that's like, oh yeah, like that's just how it is. Like that's the one thing that I just can't fix. That's the one thing that never changes. But it's okay. Like that's just my cross to bear. That's my burden. Like that's the thing. Like everything else is fine, but like that's the one thing that never changes. That needs to be let go of. You really, really need to let go of that. Okay? Let go of the idea that just because it's stuck around this long doesn't mean that it's staying forever. Okay? Like, or I messed that up, but like, just because you've had this one thing that's stuck with you like your whole life or whatever does not mean that you're going to have it for the rest of your life. And letting go of the idea that just because it's been here for so long means that it's never leaving. Like, let go of that. Let go of the idea that it's like permanent. Okay? Just because it's something can happen. Okay. So, sorry, I'm having like 15 different analogies run through my head. For the longest time, or what felt like a really, really long time, the main form of communication was conversation. You would talk to someone if they were in front of you. That was it. You wanted to talk to someone, you had to go see them, and you would talk to them. And then sometime in history, paper and probably charcoal or something before pen and pencil were made, you would write a letter. You might leave it at the cabin in the woods at your friend's house or whatever, in the village, I don't know. And then eventually pen and paper became, there was smoke signals and there were carrier pigeons. There were scribes that were journeying on horseback carrying these like scrolls. And then eventually the scrolls got phased out and they became books. And suddenly we had books and we had records and we had things that would keep our history. It was no longer just an oral tradition of history. And then eventually time passed by and we had telephones. And the telephones were all connected to a switchboard. And you would call the switchboard and you would say, "Hi, Mary Sue. I want to talk to Janet." And Mary Sue would go, "Sure, of course." And she'd go, and you'd connect up to Mary or whoever, I can't remember, Janet. But Mary Sue would stay on the line and listen because she could. She was a town gossip or whatever. I don't know. Story's going off in a weird direction. But for the longest time, all we did was talk through talking. And probably before that, it was body language, right? It was quiet. And then we had letters. And then we had the switchboards. And then the switchboards eventually became a telephone that was in households. And then every single household. And then we got the internet. And then suddenly we had email. And then suddenly we had social media. And then suddenly one day, instead of just us having to be face to face to have a conversation and connect, we were checking our DMs, checking our emails, checking our text messages, checking our WhatsApp, checking our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, our Snapchat. We're checking the front door. We're checking the letter that we sent in the mail. And then we're also, I don't know, like praying up to God. Like there suddenly now there's so many forms of communication, but at one time in life, the only form of communication was conversation. So you are in this thought pattern that the only form of communication is face-to-face conversation. Because so far you've never experienced receiving a letter or knowing how to read. You haven't experienced a cell phone. You haven't experienced the email, right? But then history changed. So even though something stuck around for so long, and even though right now you could be like, "Yeah, Laura, I know that things change. I know that we now have email, but we still have communication." So the analogy doesn't really work because you're saying that I'm going to get over the communication, but it's like something may stick with you forever, but it doesn't have to be painful. So whatever this pain point is right now, this thing that you're living with forever, it might become your favorite form of communication, maybe the favorite thing about you. But you're stuck in this mindset that you know everything. And that is never going to change. And it's never going to evolve. And even if it does evolve, it's still going to always be there. Let it go. Because the thing is also, yeah, we might have a conversation face to face or online the way we are right now. You might send me a voice note on my DM and be like, "That was a really long analogy. I don't appreciate it." Or you might be like, "I loved it. Tell me more." But the thing is, too, the form of communication might be the same. Your body is going to be the same. It's going to age, but it's going to be the same body. You're not body hopping from one person to the next, the next, the next, the next. And if you are, we can clear that. Sorry for my humor. But the words that we use did change. Okay? We do not speak the way that we used to speak in 1990, 1800s, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. We don't speak that way anymore. Ancient Rome, we don't speak that way anymore. In ancient Egypt, we don't speak that way anymore. The words that we used in caveman days, we don't use those words anymore. We don't talk that way. We don't speak in Old English anymore. We say things like, I can't even think of any slang because I'm way too old to use slang now, but like when I was younger, we used to say things that I suddenly can't remember. But you know you understand, you get what I'm saying. This is way too long. Why am I keep going? Because here's the other thing too, is I'm in your energy right now, and you just keep making it longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. What was originally gonna be a 5-second analogy is now turned into like a 10-minute, 15-minute analogy. Go back. I haven't even pulled a single card. You get it though? Like, is this making sense? Like, is me mirroring you to you making sense? Because that's what I'm doing right now. I am in your energy and I'm mirroring to you all these things. So when you let go of the idea that you have had this thing forever, you have been this way forever, when you let go of the idea that you can't teach an old dog new tricks and you start training yourself for new tricks, you will realize, oh my God, I can have new tricks. I can have a new way of being. So whatever the block is, 2025 is your year to fully let it go. And if you can't let it go, if it's something that you're like, well, you know what, for the rest of my life, I still need to breathe. To be alive, I have to breathe. You're going to learn a new way of breathing. Substitute in whatever the thing is that you're dealing with. If it's money, here's the thing too. It's like, so for super simple, let's say, can we also talk about the fact that I was giving like this super massive long thing about communication, and the card that pops out literally says communication. So also the confidence of being confident. It also has a little laurel, which I don't know if you know this, but Laura comes from the word laurel. So like the laurel wreath, the crown of victory. Okay. Analogy of money. If the thing is you're like, oh, my health is good, my relationships are good, my community is good, my this is good, my this is good. But the one thing that I'm always struggling with is I never have enough money. You don't want to get rid of money. Okay? You don't like in the analogy of communication, you don't want to get rid of the form of communication. You just want to improve your communication. Same thing with money. You just want to improve your receivership and your holding ability and your spending ability of money. You want to learn how to work with the energy of money, which would also be communication with money. So this is very much, I think for some of you it is money. I think for some of you it's something else. I think for some of you, especially since we had to use the analogy of communication, I think for some of you, you need to learn how to communicate in a different way. Because for some of you, you've been communicating in Old English with someone who speaks I am. And I am was like the MSN of my day. If you're too old or too young to know about that, just like the slang of whatever. You also have, yeah, okay. Okay, so we have the orator, communication, confidence. So this is all about you communicating in whatever way that you're going to communicate. You also have chiromancer, delivering news, collaboration. You also have this palm, like the path of life. So again, you've been on this path a long time. You have a lot of past lifetimes. You have a lot of baggage from those past lifetimes as well. You're carrying a lot of things that you're repeating these old patterns because you think you know how they end, and you're not willing to go through them again because you're afraid that they're going to end up even worse than last time, not allowing yourself to real. Sorry, my hair is all tangled at the back here, and I'm just like caught in my necklace. You're not allowing yourself to retake the test because you think you're going to fail, instead of recognizing and realizing that if you retake the test, you're actually passed to the next level. Okay. So it's like you're stopping yourself right before graduation because you're afraid to take the exam again because you think you're going to fail, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm also realizing that this is such a message for me right now. That's okay. We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. Okay. I need to go do that test. All right. You also have the puppeteer, explanations and apologies. So this is being gentle with yourself, but also releasing the strings that have been holding you back. and releasing the parts of yourself that where like you're playing this old story, you're playing these old piano keys. It's letting yourself move beyond that. You also have the twins, self-protection and dual nature. So this is bringing in both sides of yourself, okay? The side of yourself that is brave enough to do this and the side of yourself that is too scared to do it. So really, really bringing that forward and stepping into this. It's also really funny because I realized that this really applies to one area of my life. And now I'm like, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm fine. I don't need to go do that. I'm fine. And it's like, no, we're not. And we need to say that. We need to recognize to ourselves, which is also the mirror in the twins, is realizing, oh, I'm not okay with this. This isn't actually working. It's functioning, not working, not doing okay. So we get to change that. Okay. I'm right there with you. Whew. All right. Breath of the cosmos, but I saw it as breathe the cosmos. So really bringing in that universal energy and that universal support, that God support. My will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So let go of trying to control everything and really, really step into allowing things to be delivered for you. You also have big picture thinking, Palladian energy, visionary, and shared ideas. And there's literally a gateway that we're walking through. So again, allowing yourself to let go of the micromanaging because you can't see the whole picture if you're staring like right here. Okay. If I got super, super close and all you saw were my eyeballs, you would not be able to see anything behind me. You might be able to see in my pores, but that's okay. I also really don't like this angle. This is not cute. Gorgeous. Stunning. Lovely. But like, that's what I mean. Like when you're so close, if this is, okay, I'm trying to read this and this is right here. I can't see anything. I have no idea what this says. You need to pull it away from you and be like, ooh, okay, that's what that says. But all of us are trying to read it when it's right here and we're like, I can't do it. And then you're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like, yeah, because you're trying to micromanage the universe. You're trying to read it when it's slapped on the top of your forehead and you can't do it. It's facing the wrong way. You also have the Seeds of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. And then you have the Great Severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love. This is a returning home. This is you. As you're cutting these ties to these old parts of yourself, as you're bringing in this new way of being, this new way of receiving, this letting go of something that is so deeply ingrained with you, you've actually mistaken it as part of your identity, there's going to be some anger, there's going to be some frustration, there's the potential for you to really want to beat up on yourself and really want to get angry and mad at yourself. And I am begging you and I am telling you to be gentle, to soften into that love, okay? You're not like, once you go through this, you're going to be like, oh my God, that was actually easier than I thought it was. Even though while you're in it, you're like, this is really fucking hard. I don't like it. But like, once you get through, you're like, oh, okay, like I did it now. It's done. But it's like, and then you're like, well, why did it take me so long to let go of that? Like, why did it take me so long to do that? And it's like, because it just did. It just did. Sometimes we're not meant to rush through things. Sometimes we're meant to literally take our entire life up until now to go through something. And then it's like, but you don't have to carry it forever. And this may feel like really, really angry. It may bring up a lot of feelings of, I'm just fucking pissed that I haven't dealt with this yet, that I haven't moved through this yet, that this is still happening. Be gentle with yourself, okay? Ask for help, ask for support, allow yourself to shift through those emotions. You're not behind. You're not like, if you were meant to have done it sooner, you would have done it sooner, but you are being asked to do it now. Here's your final card, and it is Rose Without Thorns. You have a right to your joy, peace, and sweetness of life. Okay. So even though you might get angry, even though you might, and the thing too is your anger is not the villain. Sometimes we need to get angry to create that shift, to create that change, to move into that new energy. Sometimes anger gives us the momentum. It gives us the power to pick ourselves up, right? It's like if you were swimming at the bottom of this pool and you felt like you're drowning because you're all the way down here and you're like, I don't know how to get out. That anger can give you that boost for you to like dolphin out and be like, oh, up, over, through. You needed that momentum to like launch you into where you're going. And the thing is too, is like you can let go of your defenses. You can let go of the parts of yourself that feel hard. The parts of yourself that feel like they're hurting you, like they're no longer helping you. They might feel like they're protecting you, but when you really look at them, you realize that they're actually causing all the hurt in your life. They're actually causing all the pain in your life. And yeah, there's this softening to love that's bringing all of this potential into place and allowing you to step into this bigger picture, stepping into the things that you've always been asking for, stepping into the things that you need. I had another one. Oh, who's that one? Okay. Um, I don't want this one. Let me do this one. Okay. We picked up half the deck and half the deck flipped out. So we're gonna read these because this feels like it's for you. You have the universe and like you universe, like YOU universe. You get to be supported. You get to feel love and support even when you're working on yourself, even when you're shifting through things. This is a really big cycle of completion coming to a close, which means it's a brand new cycle opening and you get to decide how that cycle is going to look. So if there's anything that you feel like you will never get over, that you will never move past, you get to leave it all behind in 2024. Okay. We also have the Four of Cups. We have the 10 of Cups. We have the Five of Wands. We have Death. And we end on the Queen of Cups. This to me really speaks to a lot of everything that we were saying. So I'm not going to go into a whole brand new little card reading. Also, that's kind of cute. And that can be our thumbnail. I really don't feel like editing any of this today. I wasn't even gonna do this reading, and then I was like, these messages were like, we want to come through, and I was like, oh, my hair looks cute, so we'll do it. There is this beautiful limitless potential that you are popping into and that you are stepping into. So really, again, as you allow yourself to have that breakthrough, a lot of things will be showing up for you that really lead to this feeling of fulfillment. 10 of Cups is very much that fulfillment energy, that receiving energy, and just sort of creating everything that you want to create. And it's the parts of yourself like that you don't need to keep fighting who you are. You get to change. I feel like that's the big thing. Which might feel like you're dying. It literally feels like this death card. But it's leading to this shedding of the old and stepping into the new, which is mastering your emotions. Part of your journey, part of this thing that you're going on is to become the Queen of Cups, become the queen of your emotions, become the queen of receiving as well. And realizing that like it's not just emotions can be so good. Emotions are not hurtful. Emotions are not bad. Emotions are not the villain. And this idea that your emotions, that you don't want to feel anything because it's too painful. It's like, no, feel the feelings, because when you feel the feelings, you will move to the other side. You will cut those cords, those puppeteer things that were just you going through the motions. It will let that go, and you will find an entire new way of being, an entire new way of existing and co-creating with the universe, with God. And that will bring you home to yourself. Okay. That is the spiritual breakthrough that you are going through, is 2024 to 2025. We have one more card. Three of Swords. Heartbreak. Okay, the pain, the suffering, the hurt. You get to pull out the swords and watch your heart heal. The next thing I'm about to say, please don't get mad at me. The only one holding the swords in place anymore are you. The only one hurting you now is you. I am not saying that the horrible things never happened. I'm not saying that your life hasn't been hard. I'm not saying that you haven't been hurt. You are the only one holding on to that hurt anymore. Those people who hurt you, they don't even remember. And I know that that's really fucking annoying. Like, you caused me all this pain and now you don't feel anything? You don't remember? No, they don't. I'm sorry, they don't. It fucking is stupid, but they don't. They moved on. They got over it. They're like, I don't know why you're upset about that anymore. They will never understand you. They will never understand the hurt that they put you through. Let that go. Let them go. Okay? You can either reassess your relationship or you can just decide, you know what, I don't need that anymore. But there's this, you get to pull the swords out, you get to heal, and you don't have to hold on to that anymore. Okay? You also have the King of Swords here. And this is healing the relationship between you and your inner masculine, whether you're male, female, non-binary, anything in between. We all have those more feminine, more masculine qualities of yourself. And the masculine is often related to the logic, where the feminine is more related to creativity. You can relate it to however you want, but in this, the sense of right and wrong, the sense of injustice, the sense of leadership, the sense of, and this is just what I'm downloading for you right now, but like the sense of leadership, the sense of communicating your wants, communicating your needs, the sense of the stoicness, the warrior, the part of yourself that's always been the defender of yourself. That part of yourself gets to take a step back and be taken care of. That part of you that's always given gets to step back and receive. That part of yourself that has always been like, well, I can't do this, I can't be this, I can't have this because of this logical reasoning, and you're trying to always make sense of things. Let go of the trying to make sense of things and allow yourself to actually experience what you went through. And not that you have to relive the trauma. We're not doing that, okay? We're not doing that. We're not reliving the trauma. But allowing yourself to move through it so that you're free from it. And allowing yourself to let go of so we're going to use the analogy of making money. So letting go of how do I figure out how to do it and get into the feeling of I've done it. Whether or not you have the money in front of you. Okay. Whether or not you have the partner, whatever. Allowing the internal to reflect it before the external does. But yeah, letting go of trying to figure out the how and allowing it to become who you are. Okay. I thought I was done, but apparently we're not. Okay. 8 of Cups, you're leaving some things behind. Okay. I don't feel like you're moving or anything like that, but again, this is a group reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. There is this feeling of a lot of things that are passing away, things that are being left in the past. And that's part of this letting things go and this mastering your emotions here. And the removing the swords that we talked about is letting things stay in the past and no longer bringing them forward with you into 2025. Like, they are literally leaving. You just need to give them permission to go. And then we have the Page of Swords. Okay. So it's like, it's not going to be a quick fix. Healing your relationship with the men in your life as well, and I do feel like it's men in your life, but it could be anyone who has more of that masculine presence to them. It could also be money, because sometimes people relate money to masculine energy. It's not going to be something that just is gone. It can be. If you really tap into your power and your energy and you really want to be like, it's gone, it can be gone. Miracles can happen every day. I've seen people shift out of lifetimes of stuff in like an hour-long session. So that is possible. If you want to do that, you're totally welcome to. But it's going to be this continuous process of changing how you think, changing how you act, how you behave, and how you move through life every single day of 2025. But the thing is you get to enjoy it while you're doing it. Okay, it's not all struggle, it's not all pain. You get to be moving through these things as you, I also just realized that my pillow says perfection. I would like to point out that it actually says connection comes before perfection. But I just realized that the perfection part is very highlighted. So focus on connection over perfection and give yourself permission to move. Move through life, move through things, move your body, go for walks, and really, really get out of your head. Because the logical part over here is what you're rewriting and remastering the logical part of your brain to create this death and this rebirth, to create this softness, to bring this through in this whole new way. So really get out of your head. I feel like this might be something that we need to go a little bit deeper in like a personal session or something. So if it does call to you, if this has resonated, we can always do a deeper session, or we can do several different sessions. We can do like a whole year-long mentorship, all that kind of stuff. Which I thought I was retiring. So that's really funny that I'm saying like, you can do a year-long mentorship. And I'm like, what? I thought we weren't doing that in a year, but that's fine. I did this for group 2 or group 1 and group 2. So I'm going to do it for you as well, just so that you don't feel left out because nobody likes that. I've been working with a frequency scanner for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And it has changed my spiritual practice, my mental practice, my emotional practice. And if it's something that you feel like you want some support to move through these energies, to move through these shifts, please send me a DM. We'll set up a demo. I'll link in the timestamp down below when I talked about it with Pile 1 because I don't feel like doing the whole little like talkie of how I got into it, but I did tell it over there. So I'll just link you back up there, beginning of the video. But yeah, I'm Laura. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let me know in the comments down below or send me a private DM on Instagram. How did this resonate? How did this feel? What's going on for you? What's coming up for you? And if you ever want to refer your friends or let them know or share this video, I would love that so much. Okay, I love you. I will talk to you later. And I never know how to end these, but this was fun. Okay, mwah. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you in 2025. Bye. How do I stop this?